everybody, this is Shri. Welcome back to my channel, Vedic Living. Today, I'm going to continue with my Nakshatra series. As you guys know, I have multiple series going on in parallel here because I want to give you as much information as possible on astrology because, it's such an amazing, wonderful spiritual tool. And I never had a good feeling about astrology growing up, even though I grew up with astrology surrounding me. I always felt like, why do people feel so upset and anxious and sad after they go to an astrologer? But after I grew up and, when I got to that point in my life where I learned astrology, what I realized is that they are all looking at it the wrong way. Everything in your chart has a positive and a negative. What you really trigger is based on your base mental setup. So when you adjust that, when you adjust the color of the glasses that you're looking through, your life changes. So there is good and bad for everything in your chart. I've seen people with incredibly difficult planets in 8th and 12th and 6th and 2nd, and they have amazing lives till they're 100 years old. And then I've seen people who have, all these amazing planets in the 9th house and the 10th house, and luck and fortune and career and money. And, they have tough lives. They have struggled. And the reason for that is the chart is not absolute. The chart is tapping into what your energy is, what you're thinking about. That's what I tell all my clients when they come to me. They say, oh my gosh, I have this really bad Saturn sitting in this house. And, Saturn, when it's debilitated, is also good. Because debilitated Saturn might be preventing you from taking an action that is going to be bad for you. So it's the way you look at it, it's the perspective. So that's one thing that I want to remind everybody when we look at these charts from an educational and research standpoint, that astrology is an amazing spiritual growth tool. It tells us what you're here to learn, because we are all here to learn something. Everybody's life has problems. Everybody's going through challenges. We are all here to learn something out of these challenges. And the chart makes the learning easy because you cut to the chase. You're not really, blindly feeling through life and figuring things out as you fall and you get up and you figure it out again. No, you're looking at the chart and saying, okay, here are my tough points, right, which I need to work on. And here are the good things in my chart, which will help me overcome those tough things. So that's why astrology is so incredibly powerful. And I stand by it 100% on the results of astrology for evolution, soul growth, spiritual growth. Because now you can do things in a knowing fashion rather than, being hit by things out of the blue. Knowing that is, you're halfway there. And the rest of it will take your willpower and free will. The chart has a lot of things that, are in the chart can be, if there are some tough things in your chart, your free will override it and bring about the good meanings of those houses. This is why we have concepts like Viparita Raja Yoga and Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga, all these difficult placements causing great success and wealth in life. Why? Because you have changed the way you're looking at it. You have to overcome a certain issue or obstacle to get to the promised land. So that's why it is so important. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about that first so that we can go into this Nakshatra series, because I have Nakshatra series going on right now. I have the election series going on right now. And I have the sun, what does sun in each house mean? And along with that, we are doing monthly videos for new moon and monthly predictions. So we have a lot of things going on right now. So, I want to take you all with me on this journey because, we are all learning this together. I never for 1 second think that my education is over. I think till the last day I live, my education will be going on because every day I learn something new. With astrology, with Parashara system, with Gemini system, and now I'm learning the Nadi system. There's just always something new to learn, and it's so exciting to find these new concepts and bring them to you because I want to share what I'm learning with you so that we can all learn and grow together, okay? So the next nakshatra in our series is Ashlesha. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this because I have some very dear friends among my clients who have Ashlesha Nakshatra planets, and they always ask me, when are you doing Ashlesha Nakshatra? And here I am with this nakshatra. Ashlesha Nakshatra goes from 16 degrees 40 minutes of Cancer to 30 degrees of Cancer. So it finishes off the sign of Cancer. Ashlesha is sometimes called a warm embrace because Cancer is a nurturing sign. It's ruled by the moon. It's about emotions and security and the mother's love and the warmth that's surrounding you, and your sense, that warm fuzzy feeling that you get when you hug your child, or you have this pet that you really love, or your spouse. It's that's why it's called a warm embrace, because that's what Ashlesha is. Its symbology is the snake. So, there's a lot of meanings that you can derive from this. The first thing right off the bat is, in Greek mythology, Ashlesha is associated with Medusa, okay, or Hydra. So, because that's where, the snakes come into the picture, right? So, one of the things with Ashlesha Nakshatra, and in Indian mythology, it is associated with the Nagas, which are half serpent, half human kind of entities that existed in mythology. So the Nagas in Indian mythology, if any of you is familiar with the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita or any of those Hindu texts, the Nagas could transform into fully snake or fully human at any time. Okay, they had the ability to do that kind of a transformation at any time based on their need. So this is why Ashlesha Nakshatra individuals are very adaptable. They change according to the situation around them. Okay, so you cannot expect them to be very resolute on one way of thinking, because they want to listen to you, but they can also change their mind very quickly. Okay, because it's kind of going back to that mythology of the Nagas who could transform to any kind of form that they wanted. They adapt to the situation around them. They are natural chameleons, right? Whatever the situation around them, they adapt to it. And that's why they get along with a lot of people too, because of that. It's a water sign. They're very emotional, very sensitive. But I don't think of that as a bad thing, because I think that they sense their environment more than other people. They sense things around them. They're very psychic, very intuitive. And, when something's going on, they're the first ones to say, you know what, I don't feel very comfortable here. I need to get away from here. And they were right. They kind of sense the environment. When I say sensitive, that's what I mean. They are very protective. They are protective of their family. They're protective of the people that they're associating themselves with. If they have a best friend who's going through some problems, they will stand by that best friend through it all. They're very protective, because that's the nature of Cancer, right? It's about security. It's about protecting your family. It's about bringing people together and having that kind of, warm, cozy kind of feeling. So they're very protective. Now, physically, you'll notice, because it's ruled by, the symbology is the snake, they have a hypnotic, penetrating, very, very penetrating gaze. Like, their eyes, you will see, are very strong eyes. They look at you, you feel like they're looking through your soul, because that's that kind of tendency. And that's why they make great psychics and intuitive, or empaths, because when you talk to them, they are really have that hypnotizing, that charismatic kind of, sense to them, where, you feel really attracted to them, what they're saying. They're very magnetic in that sense. Now, Ashlesha is also associated with medicine, because on the medical staff, the two snakes that are coiling up the staff, that's why, because snake is its symbology, it is associated with renewal. Snakes can shed their skin and they get a new skin. That's why it's considered as the sign of renewal, and health and medicine. They are, and also because the snake in yoga or Hindu Vedic philosophy, that snake represents Kundalini energy. They are very mystical, very spiritual, and deeply transformative. It's almost like they have this hidden knowledge. When you talk to them about anything that has to do with mythology, astrology, or occult or mysticism, they have a treasure trove of information to share with you. They love that area. They love to talk about it, research it, get to the bottom of it. So this is, they're very mystical. The psychic, intuitive, very health oriented. They are always thinking about health and medicine. You'll see they have interest in yoga, Ayurveda, medical things, health related, healthcare sciences, new advancements in health. Now, the snake, in the symbology of the snake can also mean that they are a little distrustful. And that may be due to good reason. They may have had situations in their life where they had to learn to be distrustful because they've been let down by people in the past. Because most of the time when you have moon in Ashlesha Nakshatra, that means in the childhood you have encountered situations like that, where as an adult you end up being more cautious. So they are very distrustful. They don't trust right away, right off the bat, and they will assess and evaluate the situation before they take a stand. They can be a little insecure and fearful. Now, again, that will be if there are difficult planets that are aspecting your planets here, or if there are difficult planets placed here, like Mars sitting in Ashlesha can cause that, where, there's some negative connotations to the nakshatra. That happens with all the nakshatras, in fact. If there are malefic planets sitting within that nakshatra, it can bring some malefic kind of thoughts and incidents in your life, okay? So with that being said, they can be a little fearful and insecure, so they really have to work on increasing their level of confidence in themselves. They are very good at assessing if somebody's cheating them, because they understand that kind of behavior. They understand sneaky behavior. They understand when people are underhanded and trying to do something out of the norm to hurt somebody else. They understand all of those concepts. So it's hard to kind of hide things from them. But on the other hand, they are also very secretive and very hidden. They like to keep some things to themselves. They don't like telling others about it. And even like they're somebody very close to them may not be able to pry those things out of them, because they hold on to those secrets very dearly. They like to assess things, like I said, very, very clearly. Now, because they are able to identify when somebody is being wrong or cheating or trying to take them for a ride, they are really good at businesses. They can make really astute business owners, because they foresee that kind of stuff. They can see things coming. So they are like very careful with paperwork and legal matters. They understand that people can take them for a ride or can cheat them. And they're very distrustful. So that, on the good side, it also makes them good business owners. Now, the fixed star that is in this nakshatra is called Acubens. And Acubens, usually it brings a lot of interest in public affairs and astrology, psychology, how the human mind works, psychotherapy, hypnotherapy. They understand the power of attraction. They understand the power of manifestation. They are very scientific and research oriented, and they love to get to the bottom of things. They can be great writers. They can be in medicine. They can be interested in medicine, be doctors or healthcare providers. But again, they'll do it in a different way. They are interested in the metaphysical subjects as well. So even if they become a doctor, they're looking at various ways to give healing to their patient, because they are, the sign of Ashlesha has to do with healing. Now, because of the transformative power of Ashlesha, these people would have gone through tough situations early in their life. And then they transform into a different person when they're an adult, because they have learned through those lessons, and they try to become better at what they do. So when you look at an Ashlesha person, you will see that they were completely different when they were children. And then as an adult, they are, they've 100% transformed themselves. It's like 180-degree turn, right? So they're very transformative. And this is why they are good psychologists and hypnotherapists, because they understand how to tell the patient how to make this transformation, because they've done it themselves. Now, the mythology of this nakshatra is also very, very fascinating. Like I said, it has to do with the Nagas and the Sarpas, which is the half snake, half human forms, divine forms or entities. So the mythology goes back to the Naga king, Vasuki. Vasuki was a king of all the snakes, all the Nagas. So King Vasuki and his wife at one point were cursed to become snakes because they interrupted the penance of another sage, and the sage became very upset with them and cursed them to become snakes. Now they were they repented what they did, and in order to lift that curse, they tried to appease Lord Vishnu by performing meditation and penance and all kinds of difficult austerities. So both Vasuki and his wife did that. And once they did the penance and the meditation, and they got the boon for, once they completed their penance, they got a boon from Vishnu to be transformed back to human shape. So this is, the reason why this nakshatra is associated with powers of meditation, powers of penance, and transformation, because you go from being a snake to a human. So that, it just shows you how the mythology tells us more about the intricate details of this nakshatra. With that being said, that's what I had to bring to you with this nakshatra. And sound off in the comments. Tell me if you have any planets or your moon or sun, ascendant, anything placed in Ashlesha, because I would love to hear about it from you. And I'll come back to you next time with the next nakshatra. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe.